Hi everyone, it's Becky here. So welcome to another new video on my YouTube channel. Today I'm taking you all to New Westminster, and first of all let's get on the SkyTrain or the metro here in Vancouver. Now I'm walking in. Yeah, there are lots of space and empty seats at this hour earlier in the day, and the Vancouver metro is running on bridges most of the time above ground level. Here we are getting closer to New Westminster. So New Westminster is a suburban city, but now it's getting much more modernized, as you can see, east of Vancouver.
New Westminster, North Middleton on the train.
So it's actually like a little mall area down the SkyTrain station with lots of cafes, restaurants, and here I am outside a cafe called Serious Coffee. That's my first time here. It's a brand new cafe, just opened about a year ago. And just opening the door. Yeah, it's a very small but cozy little space inside. And a lot of their stuff inside here, including their tables and chairs, are red. So I ordered a cup of latte and one ham and egg sandwich. So first of all, I'm gonna sketch my food and drink very quickly in my art journal, starting with a coffee cup. It's an ellipse shape with a little bit complexity inside, with these different little shapes dividing into different structures. Yeah, so the shape of coffee lids are in cylinder shapes, drawing the sleeve and the body part. Yeah, the shape is a little bit wonky because I'm drawing on a round table, so it's a little tricky to position my body. Yeah, adding a little bit hatching to show shade. Drawing again the little sandwich. The top is a chubby ellipse shape, and the filling inside and the grilling mark. Yeah, this way and that way. Crisscross lines. Drawing a little platform. Now I'm ready to paint watercolors. And when painting watercolors, the first part is always the easiest and most relaxing one. So just wetting the area first with clear water and adding the lightest tone, a bit of diluted lemon yellow, and a bit of red for the cup. Now wet on wet, a little bit of orange yellow for parts of the sandwich. Yeah, the bottom of the cup and the lid is a dark gray color, and I don't like to use black in my watercolors. I mix my own dark gray by using ultramarine blue, pink purple, and a little bit green. And quickly adding another layer of orange brown for the third layer of the sandwich. And another layer of more intense red magenta with less water and more paint pigment for the body part of the cup, and using these simple dots to show the reliefs on the coffee cup sleeve, and another layer of more intense, my own mixture of dark gray containing less water, and same for the right side of the sleeve, which is the shade area, using burnt sienna to paint these grilling marks. Finally, painting their shadows, again using my own recipe of dark gray, starting with a light tone and then darker around the bottoms. A little bit more accentuation for the cup here and there, and that's it. It's time to enjoy my lunch and coffee. Yeah, the sandwich is actually really good, containing a lot more stuff in it than I expected. And now, after lunch, I'm ready to draw this pretty mundane interior in front of me. Okay, so here I'm gonna start with a guy waiting for his coffee order, starting with the shape of his head and then his upper body, the arm, the elbow laying on the upper counter, and his pants and leather shoes. Adding his facial expression very quickly, a little cartoony because he walked away before I finished drawing him. And yeah, adding human figures is very important to give a sense of proportion to an interior space or for any urban structures. This is the counter beside his elbow, just a section of it, using a little bit hatching lines to show shade, and another layer of, and a vertical line and a round line. Yeah, this is a very nice round counter, pretty common in cafes and pubs. Adding a little bit hatching for his hair and sweater. Now up here I do have some of these signs and menus, cards popped up here and there, just simplifying them into very simple geometric shapes, mostly rectangles in different formats and sizes. And these are the little cups hanging on the side, giving people sense of the small, medium, and large paper cup size. And keep expanding my space towards the right. The counter area, the lower part is kind of like a little step here. And this is their display shelf with all of these bakery and pastry items. Yeah, adding these very gentle little lines to show air coming out from the little fridge. Yeah, keep adding the frame for the display area. And these little signs to show the names of these pastry items. Lots of cute little rectangle shapes. And yeah, after that I'm starting to draw these circular shapes of pastry items, and also a little bit of triangular shapes for the sandwiches. Adding a little bit of shade for the board in between. Some more tags and pastry items behind. Drawing very quickly and loosely, just summarizing what I see rather than just getting it every single item on there. Yeah. Yeah, and keep drawing more on the lower shelf here and there, and also using thicker lines to give a little bit dimension for these objects. Adding some very simple hatching lines with gentle pressure using my pen. Even though I'm using my 0.8 fineliner pen, I'm using these very light pressure lines to show shade on the side of the counter. And this is the plastic covering around the counter area. And now I'm drawing this red rooftop structure above. It's kind of like a little balcony above with a lot of little wriggly lines. And starting to draw the screens, the TV screens showing the menu items and the frames. Starting to add these ridges for this little balcony area. Yeah, and these ridges that look, very close together in the distance on the side because of perspective. And drawing the roof, the little roof, and the little lights here and there, big and small circular shapes. And these lines are really helping to show 3 dimensions of this balcony structure. Add a little bit of accentuation for the bottom here. Okay, and now I'm starting to add these wine bottles, again laying on this little shelf on the left side of the counter. Yeah, in rows. And also, I also see the boss of the cafe coming to talk to this guy and preparing his orders. He's wearing an apron with stripes, and yeah, he looked very happy and chill. And starting to add packages of tea and coffee behind him.
We're in there.
Oh, look at this. That's awesome.
Yeah, just doing it for fun. Just share it on social media.
Oh, that's lovely. And then you're going to color, oil paint it.
It's watercolor painting.
Watercolor? Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, thank you.
Looks fantastic.
Thank you. Okay, and now I'm starting to draw more boxes of, I think these are napkins and some flowers on the lower counter and the bottom of the counter. And above the balcony, there's a bit of very abstract interior structure over there, with air conditioning and other pipes right there. Now I'm starting to add these very quick details for the menu screens and the imageries of sandwiches, very quick words. And now I'm just kind of moving around and see, I want to add this perspective line over here. And this is the upper window frame in perspective, and these vertical lines to show the different parts of glasses. And seeing and making visual imaginations on the white space. I'm just adding this lady just sitting down on her phone, having her coffee. It really gives a sense of proportion by adding human figures to a urban or interior landscape. Keep adding some more window frames. So as you can see, these glasses, they look wider apart, closer to me in the foreground, and they look thinner a little in the distance. Yeah, a lot of vertical frames. And this is the sign that shows open. These little light bulbs. There are lots of layers for window frames. And keep adding these window frames with patience, because they do have quite a lot of layers, and also the outside, the covering outside the window. Now drawing this truck very vaguely, because things in the distance, it doesn't have to be that clear, just to give the viewers rest for the eye. And also a tree on the other side of the street, and some poles with a walking sign, pedestrian sign, and the building structure on the other side of the street is drawing very lightly, just to suggest what they are and not to be too clear. Otherwise, this picture looks too busy. Just relax on the side. And here is the look of my finished line work. And the boss of this cafe actually came over to see my drawing, and he was very happy to see him being cartooned in my sketch. And he wanted to have 2 pieces of my sketches framed and hanged up in his cafe for sale. Yeah, so now I'm ready to paint watercolors. And now is the painting part. Actually, most of the effort in sketching the scenery is put into the line work, because it's so important to lay out the perspective, the size and placement of everything. The color, it just like spices it up with color and energy. So I just added a layer of red, kind of like strawberry red, and medium yellow for the underneath the balcony structure, the little roof there.
I love it.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, I didn't realize you're doing this. You made a Dustin here.
Yeah, Dustin is right there, the boss.
Oh, Dustin, you're in the picture.
Okay, and now I'm just blending on a bit of burnt sienna, wet into wet, of this yellow-orange structure, just to give it a little bit more three-dimensional shade. A lot of things, they're very rarely just of one kind of color. If you look carefully, you can see layers of the original color, the mid-tones, and the shade colors. Okay, now just wetting the counter area and the display shelf with clear water, and start punching in these yellow oranges for the pastry items. They should be of a very bright, vibrant color. And just adding this red door frame behind the transparent display shelf. Just wetting the counter area with clear water so I can spread out the paint smoothly with my own recipe of gray. It's mixed by ultramarine blue, viridian green, and a little bit royal purple diluted. Very light gray. Or you can use Payne's gray if you have this color in your palette. And same for the other shelf structures around. And mixing a bit more blue into the gray mixture, so the gray looks more of a bluish gray. Now just adding a bit of diluted yellow and wet into wet, some less watery yellow oranges for the objects behind the boss. And adding another layer of more intense gray, just simply by mixing in less water and more of the paint mixture. So there's a bit more contrast and shine. So waiting for those areas to dry. While waiting for them to dry, I'm just gonna paint the outside scenery very quickly with lots of medium yellow, yellow oranges, and brown diluted. Yeah, those are heritage buildings of New West. So when painting a interior space, sometimes I like to include the window view outside, and I like to paint the sceneries outside the window more lightly. Yeah, just adding some fresh greens, verdant green mixed with medium yellow, those new leaves on the trees. And now I'm starting to make the interior objects more intense compared to the view outside the window. This is the way for the eyes to relax and to show a sense of distance. The things inside, closer to me, to the viewers, they should look more intense compared to the scenery outside the window. As you can see, I'm adding another layer of more intense gray with same recipe, but just less water and more paint pigment. And same for this part of the balcony. More paint pigment of red magenta and less water compared to the first layer. And using thin streaks to show the relief of the structure, adding a bit of shade above it. Again, using my recipe of gray mixed with ultramarine blue, green, and pink purple. A little bit of light gray in between the boxes behind the boss, and some quick strokes of darker brown containing less water. Yet this area needs a little bit more accentuation to show 3 dimensions of this interior space. The yellow rooftop up there, and some more little renderings for the pastry items, like another layer of orange brown here and there, using little dots. Yeah, so a lot of things in the real world are of grayish color. Yeah, and I like to mix my own gray so it looks more lively. Painting this guy's sweater with green and adding a bit of shade for the fabric wrinkles and his jeans. Yeah, just some final colors here and there for the big screen of menu items. Painting the skin, the faces, and the hair with dark brown. Some retouches here and there with, yeah, different kinds of grays, more or less water. Yeah, just using very thin brush strokes to do those little renderings, and using burnt sienna or brown to paint these wine bottles on the side. Yeah, wrapping up shape more clearly here and there with thin brush strokes. And another layer of more intense brown, mixing a little bit ultramarine blue into burnt sienna, just to make that color even more intense. So as you can see, I'm putting a lot of work coloring the interior space, but not the view outside the window, just to keep it light and simple and vague. It really creates a sense of distance between the strong and lighter tones this way, and it saves a lot of time on work too. Less is more. Yeah, just painting this lady sitting by the table. So some final retouches for the view outside. Shadow for the man waiting. And some little greens for the trees outside. Green's very important to balance the red in here. And another layer for the window frame that's red. Here is the look of my finished sketch. So thank you so much for watching my video. If you like my video, please click like and leave me a comment below. Subscribe to my channel for weekly updates. And I'm just gonna finish my coffee before I go. Thank you so much, everyone. I will see you again very soon next time. Have a great day.